Hey America, I want to say thank you for all of you that have given us a look. There's lots more to come, I promise. Let me ask you this question. Do you feel like this country's heading in the right direction? Or do you feel like maybe our bullshit level's overflowing? Let's discuss it. Hello everyone, my name is Paul Inkley and I am your host, and my show is called Last Chance. Before I get started today, I'd like to talk about something that we just don't talk about enough as a nation anymore, and that's what a kick-ass country we live in. This is the United States of America. This is where freedom was born. This is where the free market was born. And it seems like all our leaders can do lately is just tell us what a shitty country we live in, and that's just bullshit. The American dream is just as much alive today as it always has been, and to believe that that's not true is just bullshit. America, I have a question for you. When's the last time you walked up to one of our brave men and women in the service and thanked them for what they do for you? These people, as a country, we ask these people to do, unimaginable things in just circumstances we can't comprehend. And I believe the least that we can do for them is walk up and thank them for what they do for us. I believe as a nation that we can do a much better job of that. Now, why did I call my show Last Chance? Well, frankly, America, we're in trouble on so many fronts, I'm just not sure how many chances we have left. If we the people don't soon pull our heads out of our asses, we're going to blink, and our country and our freedoms are going to be gone. My hope is that we can start looking at things with a little bit more common sense point of view rather than, sorry, I have to take care of something, I have to clarify something, we'll call it a clarifying moment. I am not politically correct. I never, ever, ever, ever will be politically correct. But, if this offends you, if the way I act offends you, then, I truly am sorry for the way that I am. I truly am sorry. Well, I was taught to not to lie when I was a kid, so that's not true either. Actually, you can kiss my ass. Thank you. Now, where was I? Yes, I remember. Please listen to me. I don't care about your color, your sex, whatever small differences we have. They're just small differences. If you love this country like me, then I will stand with you. We do have big problems in this country, and my hope is we can start looking at things with a little bit more common sense instead of doing what we seem to do so well so often in this country anymore, and that's a pansy dance, and then we just what if ourselves into a corner. Or worse, we just take the example of our government and just keep doing the same shit that doesn't work. Can we come together and maybe start to try to find some answers to the problems that we have? I ask you to please watch us. If you like what you see, please share it. And maybe we can find some answers. But as your host, I'm going to have to ask you at this particular moment to keep your feelings and your negativity inside your sock at all times and have fun, because here we go. Okay, let's get this ride going. To start off with, a little bit of information about your host. I was born in this country. I have lived here my whole life. I had two loving parents. And this may sound a little old-fashioned, but it was a mom and a dad. And it was important to my parents that their kids were taught to love and respect and honor this country. We were also taught to honor and respect our military. My father was a very wise man, and he explained to us that with a strong military, we could keep the bad eggs in line. He said that peace, which we'd all love to have, would be better achieved with strength and not false hope. And I'd like to maybe say that again. Peace, which we'd all love to have, would be better achieved with strength and not with false hope. But, if I could take a second, our military is so kick-ass. They are the best in the world. And this show takes its hat off to all of the men and women who have given of their time and their talents, and too damn many have given up their lives protecting this country. They're our modern-day heroes, and they deserve a hell of a lot better than what they're getting for their service. But as far as this American is concerned, I think our military are fucking awesome. I feel so much pride when I see our American flag. I really do. And there are too damn many Americans out there that take for granted the reverence and the history that this flag represents. I mean, do you know how lucky we are to be living in this country? Really? I think to all the times when we would look to our flag for strength. It was that beacon on the hill, and it gave us the drive and the determination to do what we do best. We don't give up, and we keep going. This is the country that built the tallest buildings in the world. We built the Golden Gate Bridge and the Hoover Dam. And unless that son of a bitch right there sold it while our backs were turned, I believe we still have claim to the moon. I believe it is our flag that's still up there. I mean, do you know how cool it is that as a nation, we pulled together and had the balls to go to the moon? Shit, man, dealing with the impossible is what Americans do best. We have such a cool history and honored traditions in this country. Our leaders and the people had a love for this country that I believe that we are losing. It used to be that there are always better days ahead. That in this nation or in this country, anything was possible. That if you had a good idea and you were willing to work hard and were ambitious, you could achieve, the American dream. Now, none of this was an entitlement. None of it was an entitlement. But you had the freedoms and the rights to try. If we were to go back in time 100 years ago to New York City, I guess technically Ellis Island, and we could have talked to the immigrants as they were getting off the boat, we would have found that these people, they wanted to be Americans. They wanted to be a part of this great land and this great experiment that they called freedom. They most certainly didn't come over here looking for a handout or a government to step in and take care of them. These people knew how to work. They knew how to work hard, and they were in a country where dreams could come true. And these dreams can still come true. Their example and work ethic is what made this country what it is today. They had the freedom to shoot for the stars, and a government that wasn't choking them down with high taxes and high regulations. And just look what they created. This is to all you atheists out there that want to take God out of everything. Whether you like it or not, this country was founded around God, and God has always been a part of this great land, and He still is today. The patriotism that I hope most of us feel, it's not been forced by a king or a dictator, and it certainly doesn't come from fear. It's a loyalty we feel as we pledge allegiance to our country and to our God. The first time we see our badass fighter jets fly over, and when we start to realize just what a gift freedom is to our lives, and just how big and beautiful this nation is. Are we teaching our children to love and respect this country? Does your family stand with pride when asked to participate in the Pledge of Allegiance? If your family's not doing these things, I have to ask you, what the hell is it going to take you to start giving a shit about your country? This is the United States of America. When did this quit meaning something? It sure means a hell of a lot to me. The problem is we're not teaching our children true American history. Now, I'm not talking about this bullshit they learn in our public school system. And if you don't believe me about the shitty state of the public school system, with all due respect, you need to pull your head out of your ass. Just imagine how bad things could be. I promise you, it's probably worse. And these are our kids we're talking about. Our true American history teaches us that although we have had some black eyes in our past, the good that has come from the United States of America in generosity, kindness, forgiveness, and love can be seen in our history almost from the beginning. And to tarnish that with but a few moments in time, well, hell, that's just not being honest. That we used to be tolerant and kind and accepting of each other. We knew we were each individuals. We knew we were each different. But we also were aware that even at a church ball game, sometimes tempers flare and we don't get along. And we need to accept that we are always going to have disagreements, bullies, and people who want to control us and tell us what's best for us. Now, as individuals, I think we can decide what is best for us. But we do need to accept that we are always going to have these kind of people, and making rules, or worse, stupid fucking laws is not going to change this. You know, we used to be taught to be good winners, but also good losers. We had good sportsmanship in how we lived our lives, but also in how we played our games. Today we don't have winners or losers anymore, and it seems like we're becoming masters at bitching and moaning about our feelings and our personal problems. Personally, I think the word fair is the most vulgar F word there is. Okay, now we're going to change directions a little bit, and we're going to talk about what gives us our rights in this country. You know, our Constitution is such a sacred, awesome document. You know, and it was written in a way that our leaders, that there was a list of rules that they were supposed to follow. Now, didn't these men and women, swear to honor and uphold our Constitution? Now, another great document that we have is called our Bill of Rights. Now, this gives us the most important right we have in this country, and that is a right to choose our own religion. Now, this means a freedom of religion, not a freedom from religion. And I just don't know how the hell people don't understand this anymore. You know, there is no arguing with the fact that our Constitution, it was influenced by the Holy Spirit, and it did lay the foundation so we could become the greatest nation in the world. You know, they want us to believe now that our forefathers, these great men responsible for giving us this wonderful country we live in, they want us to believe now that they were just greedy slave owners. And believe me when I say they're also attacking all of what makes this country great. Our history, our traditions, and so many of our beliefs. You know, the wealth that has been created by the free market in this country has changed so many lives for the better. But no, now we're being told it's not fair to the rest of the world. That all the American resources and wealth were somehow acquired unfairly. Well, that's just complete and total bullshit. You know, let's look what happened when we put this idea we call freedom to the test. You know, the free market let loose ideas and products that changed the world. It created jobs in a way that had never been seen before. Freedom and the free market were the catalysts that brought the standard of living to new heights. You know, there was something that was created in this country and it had never been seen before. And it was called the middle class. It wasn't just royalty and the filthy rich and then poor. No, in America, if you had a good idea, you were willing to work hard and you were ambitious, it would be possible for you to achieve the American dream. You know, our forefathers warned us that government always leads to corruption. You know, why don't we look to our history and learn from our mistakes? We have these insane people that are convinced that their form of communism will work. Government will do almost anything today if you let them, and all it will cost you is your soul. You know, there's some in life we're always going to have to take care of. That is a part of life. But there are too many of us that are getting too used to the handout. The longer we grow accustomed to this so-called help, come on, America, the harder it's going to be to give it up. It will take our incentive to work. Now, before you start jumping my shit and saying I don't understand, please let me finish. And this is to all you idiots in Washington, D.C. that don't have any idea how an economy works. You know, how is a man supposed to go to work every day if the job market is in the shitter? You know, our leaders are making decisions that are taking this country down the shithole. They are raising taxes and making new laws and laying layer after fucking layer of regulations. It's our high taxes, our endless regulations, and our greed that is driving our jobs and our jobs and companies overseas. These aren't difficult things to understand, but you have to give a shit. You know, the heartbeat of this country is work. We need to put down the signs, quit moaning about our personal problems and our feelings, and roll up our sleeves and go out and start trying to fix them. We need to put down these stupid electronics and go out and start doing something, you know, for ourselves. This country was founded on individual freedoms. Have we forgotten what that means? I believe with a little bit of hard work, we can do anything. And I'm asking you to ask Big Brother government, tell Big Brother government, please, I'll take care of it myself. And if you don't mind, would you get the hell out of my life, because you do make things way too difficult. We're not going to fix this country's problems in Washington, D.C., or in our state capitals either. It's the heart of the people that needs to change. We need to change. And I want to say that again. We need to change. If we could start doing that, anything could be possible. If we could learn to be more tolerant, loving, and kind with each other, we might see we're not as divided as we thought. We need to quit listening to the people that tell us the American dream is dead, and for some stupid-ass reason, we're not even supposed to try anymore. This is the United States of America, and I know I can't be alone when I say I love this country. If we could start learning to love our country again, who knows? We all bleed red, white, and blue, don't we? Okay, now I'm going to change directions of this rant just a little bit, and I'm going to talk about the coolest right that we have in this country. Undoubtedly the coolest right we have in this country. And of course, that is our right to own firearms. Now, I'm going to give a common sense lesson to all you liberal, communist people that are afraid of guns. Guns do not kill people. And I'm going to say that again. Guns do not kill people. And I want to ask you a question. Why is it that you guys blame the tool for doing its job correctly? Shouldn't we be blaming the person that was using it? Shooting firearms for a sport can be a hell of a lot of fun, but it is our God-given right to have these tools to protect ourselves and our families. And when I see all the military hardware and guns that they bought for Homeland Security and police departments across this country, I think a valid question would be, what the hell do you guys need all that firepower for? And I guess another valid question would be, is it still to protect and serve? America, I'm afraid we're being sold a 5-gallon bucket of bullshit with the promise that they will keep us safe. We keep giving up our personal freedoms, and they keep saying they'll protect us all. I want to say this one more time. You are the only one that can keep you and your family safe. Cops don't stop crime. They just clean up the mess and then issue a citation. And we can look at all the departments we've created since 9/11 to keep us safe. They're a fucking joke. Most of the time they're a big inconvenience and a total waste of time. You have to wonder if our enemies are laughing at us. Look what it takes for us to get on a damn plane. I want to say this again. You and common sense are the only thing that's going to keep you and your family safe. But it does make one wonder that, all these departments have been created to supposedly keep us safe. Want to take the only tools that we have as citizens to protect ourselves and our families. What a big surprise. Speaking of a government, you never know if they got your back anymore. Our politicians are so in love with their money and power, I think that's all they care about anymore. Our president and his whole administration don't give a flying rat's ass about this country. My hell, the man lives like a king, and the poor taxpayers, we flip the bill, and then he has the nerve to tell us we need to tighten our belts. What a fucking hypocrite. When I see how this asshole has intentionally divided us in so many ways, he's damaged our economy and our reputation around the world. I sometimes wonder if the only thing this man has to do to screw something up is mention it. The president is arrogant and he is out of control. And now, if I may, Mr. Obama, the only words that I can use to describe the printing of $80+ billion a month to cover our shortfalls and our debt is fucking insanity, and it has to stop. I don't get it. Isn't this government supposed to work together with the people and with the businesses to make our lives easier? When's the last time you walked out of a government facility and felt that way? The USA does so much good that we just never seem to talk about, and we still do to this day. We never seem to talk about. But yet all our leaders can ever do is just tell us what a shitty nation we live in, and somehow we need to, apologize for our past. From this American to the president and his whole administration, to the UN and all the jackasses that think the way that they do, Take your one world order, your apologies, your social bullshit, and let's not forget the creme de la creme, your political correctness, and shove them straight up your social ass. How dare you? This is my country, and anybody that says that the United States has to apologize for anything can fucking kiss my ass. Okay, I've calmed down. Now I want to see if we can't have a little bit of a common sense look when it comes to the environment. Now, there are some in this country that believe that man's actions are destroying this planet. But I'm going to ask you to step back for a minute and let's just look at the people that are pushing the green movement the most. Should we say Al Gore? Should we say a good chunk of politicians, if not most? We can't forget Hollywood and that whole screwed up group. Look how these people live their lives. They fly around on private jets, they live in great big homes, and they're toted around in SUVs and limousines. Now, I'm not saying they can't have those nice things. They have the money to do so. I'm just saying the people that look like they're pushing the green movement the most don't give a flying rat's ass about the environment. I remember when I was a kid, my dad used to take us up the canyon to find the sun. The inversion that would come around when I was a kid looks just like the one that comes around today. But always in a week or so, the wind comes along and takes that pollution with it. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be taking care of this planet. We've been charged by God to do just that. I just know that this is a land unlike any others. We have almost every resource you can think of, and the fact that we're not going after these resources is criminal. If we would just go after the oil that we have already located and other related resources, we could start turning our economy around. Why do we let this small group of people, why have we let them get so much power? Why do we let them do what they're doing? And what is it going to take to get these motherfuckers the hell out of our lives? I believe in mankind and his ability to remove these resources responsibly. And whether the tree huggers like it or not, sometimes you just got to build a road for the better of mankind. And yes, I did put mankind first. A shining example of how these people have gotten way too much power is we can't hardly even build oil refineries in this country anymore because of environmental requirements, or do almost anything else without having some green son of a bitch come in and tell us how we're fucking up the planet. What the hell is going on here? Have we gone completely insane? Let me go over this one more time. The people that are pushing the green movement the most are not practicing what they preach. Again, big surprise. I have a problem with the whole green bullshit movement because I just don't have a lot of faith in those men and women and in their ability to tell the truth and their lust for money and power. They always just seem to say whatever is necessary to achieve their goal. So, America, I'm going to ask you, are we being deceived? I feel, and I believe there's a shitload of Americans that feel that we are. We feel just that way. As Americans, though, I think we'd just like to know the truth. But you can bet your sweet ass there's not a chance in hell we're going to get that anymore. I know one minute it sounds like I'm harping on the state of things. And then next minute I'm saying how much faith I have in man, and in our country. I have faith in man, not agendas. And I guess it's up to you to decide which is which. I've talked about things that I am concerned about. And there are a hell of a lot more I haven't even mentioned. As a society, I guess we're going to have to decide, or as a country, we're going to have to decide. Are we just going to say, to hell with it, and continue towards moral bankruptcy? Or should we honor the Christian values that made this country great? Now, what harm could come from honoring the 10 Commandments? What harm could come from that? And finding one's love for their country, that's about as awesome as it gets. So let's quit looking at the negatives all the times and start looking at the positives. You have to believe you can do it in order to win or succeed. And nobody's going to succeed if all they can do is look at the negative all the time. And that's just a fact. I hope we've made this show enjoyable and talked about one or two things that have tickled your fancy. I want to say again how much I love my country and appreciate the freedoms and the rights that I enjoy. And I want to say how grateful I am for our armed forces and say God bless them and may He protect them always. Until then, I am an American and I bid you a farewell. Hey, America, I'd like to tell you about a brand new Western book. It takes place in the mid 1800s in Yuma, Arizona, and it's well worth the read. The book is called Sweet Justice, and it was written by a very talented new author, and his name is Mark Inkley. If you enjoy an old Western, you'll like this book. Let's give it a look. If you want more information, they say that there is a link in the description. So hey, give it a look. America, you're awesome. Thanks so much.